Hey everyone, it's Rory here from Postmark Games, and today I'm doing a solo playthrough of Koala Rescue Club Map 2, and I'm choosing to do it on a browser just to show you how that works. So I'm using the website sketch.io and their app Sketchpad, which is entirely free to use, and you can just load in an image and start drawing over the top of it. I'm also using Google Dice just to show you how the game can be played entirely digitally. So if you don't have a printer or you don't have any dice, you can still enjoy the game by playing it this way. Koala Rescue Club Map 2 is slightly more complex than Map 1 in as much as the areas that you'll be planting in are significantly smaller. So you can see like this area F here, there are certain shapes that will not fit in there, so I need to be a bit careful about how I plan things out. I've already taken the first couple of turns of the game. I rolled a 6 and a 2, and I used both of those values to plant with. So the 6 planted here, and then the 2 planted here. So I'm really now looking for 4s, 1s, or 2s for more planting or anything else for rehoming koalas. And what I'm trying to do is unlock one of these sky bridges so I can start giving myself a bit more flexibility with where I plant and rehome. So let's roll the dice for turn 3 of the first round, and let's see what we get. So it's a 5. So a 5 won't allow me to plant because I can't fit the 5 shape, which is this sort of L, into the planting area. But I can rehome some koalas, and that's what I'm going to do. And think I'm going to, I'm going to do this. Oh, first things first is I should write the value in the round tracker, and then I'm going to rehome these friendly little koalas here. So what I'm trying to do now is unlock this sky bridge up to area B so I can start planting there as well. Okay, let's roll for the next turn. It's a 2. So I've got options now with a 2. I can plant, and I think I'm going to plant here. Now I've been using this ring tool on Sketchpad just because it's a bit easier for drawing circles, so that's what I'm doing here. And I'll do that and that because you can see that this is what a 2 value allows me to draw, and you can rotate and flip the shapes any way you like. Okay, let's go back to our pencil tool and roll again. We have a 3. Now a 3 is a bit more awkward because I can't actually fit, I can't plant, I can't fit trees in that area, and I can't rehome koalas with a 3. Now, if I had a volunteer, I could turn it into a 2, which would be ideal, but one of the differences with map 2 is you don't start with a volunteer. So the volunteers allow you to change the dice by plus or minus 1, but I don't have one to use, so I can't do that. So instead I'm going to have to just rehome or plant 1 time. So that's something you can always do. Instead of using these shapes here, you can just do a single shape, and I'm going to do that. And I'm actually going to do this koala here because that will allow me to open up this sky bridge because I've completed this row. And now that'll give me a bit more flexibility with the next roll because I'll have this area that I can work in. And ideally I'd like to open up this sky bridge into area C as well, so I can give myself even more flexibility. Other things I'd quite like to do is get a volunteer. I mean, you saw how that would have helped last turn. So maybe I need to think about doing these trees and koalas here. Okay, so let's roll for the next turn. And it's a 6. So you can see, if you're not familiar with Koala Rescue Club, you play the game over 2 rounds and you score after each round. So I only have 15 turns in which to try and do as much as possible. In the solo game, you also are racing for these objectives, and you're racing to try and do them in the first round. So if I can get all of the trees planted in area B, which I may well be able to do, we'll see, then I'll get 3 points. If I do it after round 1, so if I do it in round 2, then I only get 2 points. The same with these as well. Okay, so let's have a look what we can do with a 6. So a 6 is this T shape, which doesn't give us any options here. I would have to take the single koala or planting action. But I can do something up here, and I think that's what I'm going to do. And actually that's not ideal either, because I'm going to be leaving a single koala, but let's go for it anyway. Let's do, again, I think maybe sky bridges are good, although I did say I wanted a volunteer, so yeah, let's go for this. Let's do this, 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 and this. Give ourselves a few options there. Okay, let's roll again for the next turn. And it's a 4. So a 4 is this sort of corner shape, which actually is pretty handy for me, because I can use it here, or I could use it here. And I think I'm going to use it here, because if I can then get a 5 on a later turn, I can complete a couple of things. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. Okay, let's roll again. It's a 2. So a 2 is just a 2 shape. And yeah, I kind of want to, yeah, I wanted to save that for a 5 so I could unlock a volunteer and a sky bridge. So maybe instead we'll start working up here again. Yeah, I think we're going to go for these koalas here. So I'm going to rehome these ones. And that gets me this tree, which I'm going to plant. Let me have a think about this. So the trouble with recording and playing is you don't have a lot of time to think about your moves. Obviously, if I was playing this solo and I wasn't recording it, I'd be spending a bit longer thinking about what to do. Yeah, let's do this tree here. So that's with our bonus that we got for completing this column here. Okay, let's roll again. We get a 6, rolling lots of 6s today. So remember, the 6 is the T shape, and I can use that to rehome some koalas. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'll do this. Which now completes this sky bridge into C. And that will allow me to start planting in this area here, planting and rehoming. And hopefully I've left myself a kind of fairly easy rehoming action here, because a 1 or a 2 would do that. And that would get me that volunteer that I've been after. So I'm happy with that. Let's roll again. So it's a 4. So I think with a 4, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to plant here. And that now completes all of the trees in area B, which is our tree lover achievement. So I can just circle this, and I've scored 3 points at the end of the game because I've done it in the first round of scoring. If I'd done it in the second round of scoring, it would have been 2 points. So yeah, that's pretty cool as well. So let's roll again. 5. So this is slightly trickier. I think we're going to have to now move into area C. So I'm glad that I've unlocked that. Let's do this. I'm really trying to go for those volunteers just to give myself a bit of dice mitigation, because I think I'm going to need that, particularly when I start moving into area F, where there's obviously you can't plant or rehome using a 5, a 4 or a 6. So that's going to be really tricky to do. And that is one of our achievements, is to rehome all of the koalas in area F. Okay, let's go again. 3. Okay. I think we've only got one option here, or we've got a couple of options actually. I could either plant these trees here, these 3 trees, or I could rehome these koalas here. And I think, yeah, let's go with the koalas. If in doubt, koalas. Okay. 2. Okay. Yes, a 2. So that's what I needed for here. So I'm definitely going to use that here. I'm going to rehome these 2 koalas. And now I have completed this, which gets me another volunteer because I've completed this column, and I've completed this column as well, which will get me a tree, and I just need to think about where I'm going to place that tree. I think I'm going to do it here. Okay, let's roll again. 6. So unfortunately, there is not much I can do with a 6. Perhaps I should have been focusing on opening up this sky bridge so I could have planted in area D. So I'm going to have to take that as a single koala or plant or tree. And so if I did this one here, that would give me a hospital. Now the way the hospitals work in map 2 is you get points for building them if you completely build them, but if you start a hospital and you don't finish it, you actually score negative points. So yeah, I don't know whether I want to be starting a hospital just yet, although I'm probably going to finish this column here. So yeah, okay, let's do this. Let's take a single koala rehoming action to rehome that koala there, which gets me my first hospital, which I'm going to take as that one there. Okay, so this is the final turn of round 1. I've not done very well in terms of scoring for round 1, but that's just how it goes. Actually, I could have... Okay, let's have a think about this. So I could have used my volunteer, but no, let's carry on. Let's carry on as we are. Let's roll again. So it's a 3. So that's our final result for this first round. And I think what I'm going to do is keep it as a 3 and use it here, because this will give me... some points there. Okay, so I realise now my mistake with this hospital is that I am going to score negative points because I'll be scoring it at the end of this round, so that's a shame. But you live and learn. As I say, the stresses of the pressure of recording and playing at the same time. Okay, so the way we do the round scoring is we look at any area that's been completely planted, which is B and C, so that is 2 points. We look at any area which has been completely rehomed with koalas, which is currently nothing. And then we look at hospitals, and unfortunately I have started a hospital and not finished it, so I'll lose a point there. And so I've scored a grand total of 1 point for round 1. But I did get this achievement, so that's going to get me an extra point at the end of the game. And hopefully I can get these ones in the next round, so I can get the points for those 2, although it'll only be 2 points rather than 3. Okay, so let's carry on with the game. Let's roll again for the first turn of round 2. So that's a 4. Okay, so a 4 is potentially, we could do this here. That would get us a volunteer back, but it would leave a single koala by itself. But maybe that's okay. Yeah, let's go for that. Let's do this. So I've now completed this, which gets me another volunteer here. What I'm thinking is if I can complete this column, I can get another koala and then fill this one in. So that's my thinking there. Okay, so 5. So a 5 is really no good for us. So I could use a couple of volunteers. I could use both my volunteers. I think that might be what I do, because I need to start thinking about opening up some more sky bridges. Although, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to use both my volunteers. Thank you for helping out. To turn the 5 into a 3, and I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to use this koala bonus to do this, which is going to get me another volunteer. So you can sort of see how the cascading combos work in this game. This is probably the first turn where it's really kind of paid off. I've opened up a sky bridge, a new sky bridge, and I've got a couple of trees that I can plant. And I mean, I could start planting them in here, which is not a bad idea, but I think I'm going to actually plant them down here, both of those trees. So now this area C is done, but we have got F that we can move into, and that is one of our achievements as well, and one of our merit badges. Okay, so let's roll again. So 3. So 3 is pretty good for here actually. So I am going to take that while I can and do some planting here. A 4. So I'm not particularly set up for 4s, but I could use a volunteer and make that a 3, and then I would be completely planted here, or I could use it for rehoming the koalas. What other options might I have? I mean, I really need to roll a 1 or a 2 at some point so I can open up this sky bridge to area D. But let's go ahead and turn it into a 3 and do this. So that is area F fully planted, but we won't get the merit badge reward unless we completely rehome the koalas there as well. Okay, so there is another 3, which is handy because I'm going to use that to start rehoming these koalas. So 1 more 3 and then I would have completed area F. But remember, we need to start thinking about this, so hoping for a 1 or a 2. It's not, it's a 6, and a 6 is really unhelpful. So it's going to have to be a single koala. I do have a single koala up here which needs rehoming, so I could do that. However, that would unlock a tree, and I have nowhere to put that tree right now. So I think I'm just going to carry on rehoming koalas in area F. Oh, I need to write that in the round track as well. Okay, 4. Wow, we're not getting the 1s or 2s. Yeah, so that's not great either. So I think I should have probably done this last turn actually, but never mind. I'll take it as a single. I'll rehome that koala. I'll open up area E. So yeah, I should have done that last turn instead of putting a koala here, because then that would have let me use the 4 in area E, but That's how it goes. Nobody's perfect. It's another 4, but we do have this area we can now plant in, so I think that's what we'll do. And I do need to try and finish this hospital at some point, otherwise I'm going to score negative points for it again. There are some opportunities to do that here. Let's do... I'd quite like some volunteers too. You can never have enough volunteers in Koala Rescue Club. Never. Okay, let's do that. Let's roll again. 4, 6. So we are over halfway through round 2, and then the end of round 2 is the end of the game. So, okay, let's do. What's the best way for us to get a hospital? Probably this. So I don't think I'm going to get this people person achievement. I'm not sure I'm going to get that because I would need to claim all of the volunteers, and quite a way of doing that. But let's see what the dice do. A 2, finally a 2, and I'm definitely going to use that here because, and I hadn't realised this before, that will open up Area D with the Sky Bridge. That will give us another hospital, which I can complete this hospital finally, and it will give us a koala, which I will do this one or this one. I mean, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. Or I could carry on chipping away at Area F because I do need to do that at some point. Let's do this here, and let's do this here with this tree. Okay, let's roll. I would quite like another 2. That would be handy. It's a 4. Okay, but I can breathe a bit easier because I've got this. Oh, I missed this tree at some point. I don't know if I claimed it or not. I'm going to cross it off. Hopefully I did claim it, but if I didn't, that's my own fault. So a 4, I will use here. Try and go for that volunteer. Not very many turns left now though. A 1. Aha, that's great. So I'm going to do these. I'm going to do these koalas because I'm worried they won't get done otherwise. Now they don't get me any rewards for completing rows or columns, but they do get me this merit badge, which is 2 points. I'm pretty happy about that. A 3, okay. So the great thing about Koala Rescue Club, I mean, I've not been talking about the shapes down here because by this point I've kind of internalised what all of them are, and that kind of happens fairly quickly when playing the game. So a 3, as a reminder, is 3 across or 3 down. And is there any way I can get this? I don't know if there is, but I am going to at least complete the trees in this area because that will get me a point. Okay, it's 4. So what's the best thing for me to do now? I'm not going to be able to finish. Not going to be able to finish this in terms of rehoming koalas, and the rewards here are handy. The trees would be handy because that might let me finish D, for example. And the hospitals would be great if I could finish hospital. It'd probably be this 3 now if I went for it. But I think I'm going to focus in on this area down here and trying to complete this one in terms of trees. Although if I took the single koala, I could do that. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Let's take this. Let's just take it as a single koala. Let's do that. Let's gain another tree, which I'll take here. And do I take another tree? Sorry, no, I've got to rehome a koala, that's what I'm thinking. Where am I going to put that koala? Let's go... Yeah, let's just do this one here. Okay, so roll for the final turn of the game, and it is a 4. Which is not going to let me complete this area, but I could do this just for the sake of it. Yeah, I've probably played this very inefficiently, but like I say, concentrating on recording and filming. It's a tricky old thing. So that will get me a volunteer. That would get me another tree, which doesn't really matter at this point, but let's just put it here just for neatness. And that will be the end of the game. I'll just tally up my scores for round 2. So areas that have been completely planted by trees are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So did all right with that. Areas that have completely been rehomed with koalas, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hospitals is 2 points. So that's 9, 10, 11. This I didn't get. So let's add up all of our scores. So 1 plus 11 is 12, plus 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17, which is not bad, but not great either. So there we go. That is a full playthrough of Koala Rescue Club Map 2. Hopefully this has been useful and informative. I say it's a bit trickier than Map 1. So good start with Map 1 and then move on to this one. I played that not great. I think some better use of combos for filling out some of these spaces and unlocking these sky bridges might have been a better way to do it, but there we go. Koala Rescue Club is live on Kickstarter until this Sunday, the 25th I believe it is, so head on over there and back it if you haven't already, and I'll catch you next time.